Hey guys, it's MellyB. I'm going to be answering a few questions about my streaming experience on the MeetMe app, as well as giving some tips on how to become a successful broadcaster. And I'm so excited for you guys to see this video, so stay tuned.
Why did you join MeetMe?
He said, download the MeetMe app and I'll give you some advice and some tips whenever you feel the time is right for you to get started, and just go live. See what happens. You might like it. So I think a lot of us can relate to the fact that we were on a different dating app looking for somebody, but then we kind of found ourselves in streaming, and that's how I feel on MeetMe. So that's a big blessing to me.
How has live streaming changed your life?
Before I started streaming, I didn't sing that much. And then once I started competing in competitions, and formerly known as Meet Me's Got Talent, now it's a verified show called Search for the Star, I think it really made me connect with people with my music ability. And I don't feel like I'm that soft-spoken anymore in my streams. It can get a little bit crazy. It can be super exciting, and there's a lot of successful moments, but it's definitely made me more confident and more sure of myself. And when you get more comfortable being on camera as a streamer, you find yourself being more articulate in reality.
Have you met up with anyone on the app?
Yes, I have. A lot of my friends were really excited for this. I met up with Top Badge Brooke Falls, and I met her last summer, and we actually have a mutual friend together. So that's how our friendship started. And we've done a lot of sing-offs, and that's where my sing-off Saturdays stemmed from.
So how has streaming changed for you before and after the pandemic?
Interesting question. So when I started in May 2020, and no sooner did I join, I was already singing in people's boxes, and I didn't know what a box was, and I didn't know how to enter the box, and people had to walk me through it and say, this is the plus sign, click the plus sign first and request it. And then during the height of the pandemic, that's when I was competing in Hoop Show. And then I came back after I made it into the finale as a judge. And I would say during the pandemic, I think a lot of streamers can relate to mental health, as well as being in the unknown and not having any answers as to what was happening in reality. We could escape from the fact that the pandemic was going on temporarily for maybe a few hours on here, but as soon as everybody hits that X, as I say, how do you separate yourself from your streaming life? And then how are you recentering and thinking about, okay, where am I at? Where am I at now? I would say during the pandemic, it was an escape. And right now, after it, it's interesting because people, you might see them come and go more often rather than stay on more consistently, or there are certain days where you're used to seeing them there and they might not be there because either they're working again or they're out and about. So there's a big difference, but no matter what, those streamers that are very well known, they're always welcome back with open arms, and their chat is going crazy as usual, and people say, I missed you, and they're like, I know, I'm so sorry. So I would say that's a big difference there, but the app really taught me that community.
What are your hobbies?
I am pretty sure admins know that I do sing quite often. I learned Taylor Swift's was it her Fearless album? Oh, no, it was her, it was one of her albums. I learned it in 2 days before I went to her concert because I wanted to know all the lyrics to everything. So I'm a singer. And I also, when I have time, I like to cook. I'll post things about my recipes that I've been working on, and they want to try it. People want to try whatever I'm cooking, and I think that really helps take your mind off of everything else, because you don't have a choice to focus in on something that's bothering you. You're focusing in on the directions that are right in front of you. And I'd also say I like to write a lot, so I guess I could say poetry as well as just free writing in my spare time when I have a lot of free time.
So are you working on any projects?
And as far as other projects, I'm learning some new things like by Halsey. Somebody suggested driver's license the other day, and learning how to project with my singing voice, because I can talk like softly, but when I'm projecting, like I really have to fix my posture and I have to trust myself. The red dragon was making an appearance a lot, so I was thinking to myself, man, I'm seeing it a lot lately, so I think I'll just make it. So this is the red dragon. So like kind of like when it's sitting on the gold, and when you see the phoenix, it's short, it's pretty quick, it's pretty rapid. So you've got to really study it. But my phoenix is pretty spot on as well.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to start live streaming but doesn't exactly know how to?
I would definitely say what a lot of people tend to say, and they skip a lot of tutorials or to-do list. They'll just say, just go live, hit the live button, see what happens. But I don't think it's that simple. I think nowadays, since all these platforms are really shifting, there's a lot of changes, and it's a big path ahead of you when you're trying to make a name for yourself. I think already knowing somebody that has been on the platform that can be there in your streams with you and kind of help you out and introduce you to somebody else, like through a battle or somebody hopping in their box for the first time. I think that's really helpful. And just introducing the very simple phrases, like I said, thank you for the favorite. And guys, if you're new here, don't forget to click the star. My name is this, and this is what I do. If you want to come back here, things like that, because that engages your audience. And I think even as an OG streamer and somebody who's been experienced, I think a lot of us tend to kind of fall back on that. And we forget to say, guys, if you haven't clicked the favorite button above it, things like that to keep the content going. And that's part of your content. And explaining what content means is those little phrases. And eventually somebody, they'll get into their own type of rhythm, and they might come up with different theme nights for their stream, because they'll just visit other ones, which I also encourage people to do that. Just visit, just sit there. And whether you have your main account or you have another one, when you just sit there and observe somebody, you can definitely see how they are as a broadcaster and why the amazing things happen in their streams.